Good evening, this is the Lion of Legend, and welcome to Bloom. Prologue, Chapter 0. Thank you. Come again. The bell at the door jingles as the customer leaves the cafe. I sigh, once more enveloped in peaceful quiet. Sunset seeps in through the open windows, bathing the room in soft pink light. A light breeze gently blows the curtains around. With no other customers around, I reach for a cloth to start cleaning the coffee bar. Back and forth, I move the cloth across the counter. Something about the motion, combined with the serene atmosphere, is soothing. The only sounds are the sweet chirping of the birds and the distant rush of water through the street's canals. Astra, do you have a moment? My body jerks, so startled by the sudden voice that I freeze mid-wipe. Seems like working in silence for hours has lulled me into a false sense of security. Behind me stands Sylvia, smiling knowingly. She definitely wasn't there just a second ago. You do that on purpose, don't you? Sylvia's smile doesn't change, her face as placating as ever. Certainly not. Why would I want to scare you? That's what I'd like to know. Sylvia doesn't respond. Instead, she rounds the counter where I've been cleaning and settles into one of the chairs lining the bar. I'd like your opinion on something important. Her tone is calm, but there's a seriousness in her eyes. I straighten a little, curious. With Hallis's popularity increasing, I have been thinking of ways to revitalize the cafe. If we want Bloom to thrive, we can't just keep doing the same thing forever. I've lived long enough to know that it just doesn't work. In other words, I'm looking to spice things up. Spice things up? I want you to help me make some changes around here to help boost our patronage. Really? That sounds like a lot of fun. I'd love to help. What kinds of changes are we making? Well, I have a few ideas, though I was hoping you could help me decide. Me? But, I mean, I've barely been here for a full year. Should I really have a say in this? Of course. I trust you. Besides, who better to help improve our little cafe than its #1 fan? My cheeks grow red with embarrassment, though what Sylvia says is accurate. However, underneath that embarrassment lies a tentative excitement. Alright then, what are you thinking? I've narrowed it down to 2 possibilities. Option 1, we focus on the menu. Not that there's anything wrong with the one we have now, but it could certainly use a refresh. I figured doing something seasonal might give customers a reason to come back over and over again. Option 2, we really hone in on the community aspect of Café Bloom. We become a place that not only serves good coffee and food, but a place that creates a space for local artists and creatives to gather. What do you think? If I'm being honest with myself, it sounds fantastic. Having the opportunity to work on a project like this, knowing that Sylvia trusts me to do it, is the opportunity of my dreams. Can I really do this? To anyone else, this might seem like a simple request, but for me, this is a step forward in my career, a chance to further earn my place at Café Bloom. Though it's small and simple, I love it with every ounce of my being. In a short amount of time, Café Bloom has become special to me. Every day is fun as I spend my days learning how to make coffee, interacting with customers, and working beside Sylvia and Albion, who, despite what one of them might say, are some of my closest friends. Seems like I've made up my mind already. I'd love to help. Great. I didn't have a backup plan if you were to say no. I suppose I could have asked Albion, but yeah. Sylvia and I share a knowing smile. Good thing I said yes then. Yes, everything fell into place perfectly. I don't think we have to rush, but I thought it might be nice if we could choose which plan to execute by next week. No problem. I'll do my best to consider each option thoroughly. I already put together a budget to pay for anything we might need, so no need to worry about that. Just don't work yourself too hard. I know what you're like. I think I can manage that. Then we have ourselves a deal. Sylvia reaches her right hand out to me from over the bar. My own right hand mirrors hers, sealing the deal. What an exciting way to start spring. Prologue, Chapter 1. Warm sunlight filters through the nearby window, the bright rays forcing me to finally get out of bed to confront the day ahead. I sit up and reach my arms up, which sends a pleasant shiver down my spine. For a moment, everything is calm as I let myself slowly adjust to being awake. The conversation I had with Sylvia is slowly coming back into focus, and the weight of what I've been asked to do is starting to sink in. I lean forward to rest my elbows on my thighs with my hands laced together on my lap, thinking. Drawing in more customers. All of the options Sylvia gave sounded great. How am I supposed to pick just one? If I'm going to choose, then I have to make sure I consider each idea carefully. I've got a week to decide. I wonder if Sylvia told Albion already. He works at the cafe too. Maybe I could ask him if he has any ideas. Albion has been working at Cafe Bloom for a little longer than me, and while he is amazing at making coffee, his social skills are some of the worst I have ever seen. Still, it's worth asking for his opinion. At the very least, I'm not going to make any decisions just sitting around in bed. A light knock sounds at my bedroom door. Astra, are you up? I made us coffee. Guess that's my cue. I'm up. I'll be out in a minute. You better be. Don't let my hard work go to waste. Okay. 1 minute, I promise. 1, 2, 3, 4. The sound of Quinn counting down fades into the background as they walk away from my bedroom door and into the kitchen. I chuckle to myself knowing that Quinn will seriously count for the full 60 seconds. I should hurry. Quinn will be sad if I let their coffee go cold. Recently, Quinn asked for help in learning how to make coffee, though I'm not quite sure why, seeing as they don't seem to like it very much. In the beginning, the results were disastrous. Every cup was either seriously watered down or horribly bitter, but they've slowly been improving. The thought of fresh, warm coffee, no matter how mediocre, fills me with just enough energy to get dressed in record time. The window over the kitchen sink is open, letting in the fresh spring breeze. Outside, I can see cobbled streets and hear the birds chattering in the trees. My eyes catch on Quinn, who stands at the counter with 2 mugs in front of them. And 60. Here, come sit. I think you'll like this one. I followed all your many instructions to the letter. Quinn pushes one of the 2 mugs closer and gestures at it with an open palm. I grab the mug with both hands, letting the warmth of the coffee seep into my palms. The feeling is so relaxing that my eyes start to fall shut. Hey, don't fall asleep, you have work soon. The tap of Quinn's pointed nails against the countertop beckoned me back to the present. Right, coffee, work, no sleeping. I focus on the drink before me, taking a deep breath to really hone in on the scent of the coffee. It's nutty, and a little smoky. This is the dark roast that I picked up from the market after work a few days ago. For a brief moment, I allow myself to feel a bit of pride at being able to recognize the notes so readily. My research is paying off. The corners of my mouth turn up. As usual, the smell of coffee alone is enough to lift my spirits. Astra, please, just take a sip and tell me how it tastes. Sorry, but, the aroma is important too. I can tell a lot just by smelling it, and Yes, I know. The aroma tells you things that your tongue can't. Blah, blah, blah. Trust me, with my sense of smell, I get it. I really do. But you're taking forever. A fond smile breaks across my face, but I refrain from saying anything else, finally bringing the mug to my lips. I take a second sip, partially because I'm trying to get a better grasp on the flavor, but mostly just to mess with them. I make sure to keep eye contact as I take long, drawn-out sips. You're very funny. Seriously though, how is it? Much better than last time. A little watery, but that's no big deal. With the way things are going, I'm actually starting to worry for my job. Watch out, I'm going to run Café Bloom out of business. Quinn finally takes a sip from their own mug, but in contrast to my own sigh of contentment, their eyebrows pinch together and they open the fridge. Ugh, actually, on second thoughts, I think you should keep your job. I don't know how you drink this stuff black. It's like drinking tar. And yet you try it black every time. Because I think maybe one day it'll be good. Quinn takes another sip of their drink, which is now more milk than it is coffee. Much better. I can't help but wonder why they even drink coffee in the first place if they're just going to drown it in milk and sugar. Hey, isn't it almost time for you to go? Trying to get rid of me? Never. Who'd pay the other half of the rent? Wow, is that all I'm good for? Kidding. But you really will be late if you don't leave soon. A glance at the nearby clock shows that Quinn is right. If I want to be on time, I should leave now. Okay, I'll get going. I gather my things, which are all conveniently located next to the front door. Keys, backpack. Hey, Quinn, have you seen my... Before I can even finish my sentence, Quinn's hand appears in front of me, holding exactly what I was about to ask for. Coffee thermos. Already filled with fresh coffee. You're amazing. Alright, I'm off. Thanks again. You're welcome. Have a good day at work. Quinn closes the door behind me, likely going to get ready for their own day at work. Once the door is closed, the sounds of bubbling streams and overlapping voices come into focus. As is typical of a spring morning, the air is slightly chilly, and I shiver whenever the wind picks up. I curse myself for not grabbing a jacket before leaving this morning. It's easy to feel like you can handle the cold and the warmth of your own home. Fortunately, I don't need to deal with the cold for too long, just until I make it to work, which thankfully only takes around 30 minutes. The commute to work is usually enjoyable, save for the winter months when the wind becomes biting and harsh. I should remember not to take this weather for granted. Alright, at this pace, I should make it just in time to catch the next boat. Upon reaching the dock, I climb onto the boat and settle in for the ride. The ferries make transportation a breeze, and also give me a chance to gather my thoughts before work, so I often look forward to it. I lean against the railing of the boat to admire the view of the city streets arching out in front of me. Hallis is one large circle, separated into 8 blocks. There are also 8 canals in the city, but 2 of them are rings, following the city's shape, and thus are the most efficient for traveling between blocks. Currently, I'm riding a ferry that will take me from Block 4, where my apartment is, into Block 6, where Café Bloom is located. Before I know it, the ferry comes to a stop, and I arrive at Café Bloom. The first thing I see when I walk into Café Bloom is Albion. He's standing at the counter in the middle of what I assume is the order for the only customer currently in the cafe. Albion looks like he's concentrating deeply. His eyebrows are furrowed, a common feature for him. If he weren't a nymph blessed with eternal youth, I'd worry that his face might get stuck like that. He's perfectly manicured, clothes crisp and unwrinkled. His hair is soft and expertly styled, showing off the Oria's signature bright hair. Everything he does looks effortless, and everything about him is perfect. Except... well, look what the cat dragged in. Except for when he opens his mouth. I walk closer, moving behind the counter towards the break room to put my stuff away. As I pass Albion, my gaze drifts to the ribbon of his apron, which is tied neatly into a bow. In a split-second decision, I decide to play a small prank on him. Albion absolutely hates being perceived as anything less than pristine and perfect. No harm in poking a little fun. I make sure to catch Albion's gaze, and once I have it, I point towards my stomach, where my own apron would be tied if I were wearing it, and whisper, "Your ribbons come loose." For a moment, Albion looks genuinely distressed as he looks down to feel for a bow before realizing that he'd been tricked, sending a withering glare in my direction. Anything else he might have to say in response is stolen by the air as I quickly enter the break room and close the door behind me with a smile. I hang my bag on one of the hooks and turn to write my name on our timesheet. Made it right on time. Signing complete. I reach to grab my apron, but just before I can snag it off the hook, I'm startled by a sudden voice. "Good morning, Astra." "Ah!" My sudden shout interrupts her attempted greeting, and she laughs softly. "Sorry, Astra. I didn't mean to startle you." "Are you sure about that?" Sylphia laughs, shrugging her shoulders. "Think of it as training. You're too easily startled." "Training for what?" My question is ignored as Sylphia deftly changes topics, something she's quite adept at. "How's your morning? Was Quinn's coffee serviceable today?" "Yes, actually. They did a really good job." "Actually, if things keep going like this, you might have a new employee soon." "Please, you and Albion are all I need. I have the best baristas in Hallis." A laugh escapes me, and I grin widely. Sylphia is always kind, and while I know that she would never replace me or Albion, it is nice to hear it out loud. "Aw, you mean it?" "Of course I do. Speaking of, you should go join Albion at the bar. I'm sure he's getting lonely out there by himself." "Oh yes, I bet he's dying for some attention." Sylphia and I lock eyes, our poker faces only holding for a brief moment before breaking into twin grins. "Have fun. I'm about to head out for a supply run, and Albion's leaving after lunch, so you'll be closing alone tonight." "No problem. It's nothing I haven't done before." I turn to grab my apron again, which I had forgotten after Sylphia startled me, tying the ribbon tightly. I also make sure to tuck my pen, paper, and stopwatch into the front pocket before heading back into the cafe. Albion is still at the bar, though it seems he's finished making the lone customer's coffee and has moved to doing some light cleaning. I see a few dishes in the sink, so I move to get a start on those while Albion continues to wipe down the countertops. And here I thought I might make it through an entire shift in peace. Peace is overrated. You would say that. Behind me, I hear the bell and the sound of Albion welcoming in the next customer. I make it to the sink and pull on a pair of bright pink gloves to begin my work on the dishes that piled up before I arrived. I fall into a rhythm, one that frees up my mind enough to travel along the same path that it had tread this morning. What's the best way to appeal to more customers? As it stands, we have a fairly loyal and consistent customer base. Whichever of Sylvia's options I go with, I should keep in mind the core experience that our regulars come back for. I could feel a hint of anxiety start to form in the back of my mind. No, Sylphia asked me to do this for a reason. I just have to trust her judgment. Eventually, the dishes in the sink start to disappear, but I continue to be lost in thought. Astra. Astra? Hey, Astra. I feel a sharp pain on my cheek. Ow! You pinched me! I called your name 3 times. There's no more customers, and all the dishes are done. What else was I supposed to do? I don't know, maybe tap me on the shoulder, snap your fingers or something, like a normal person would? I cross my soapy gloved hands over my chest, making a face which lets Albion know of my disapproval. So, what's up? Albion stares at me for a few seconds, like he's reconsidering this entire interaction, before his face screws up and he lets out a loud sigh. What's wrong? Huh? It's not that I didn't hear him. but rather that Albion rarely asks anyone anything. He isn't really interested in the lives of other people outside of what he is required to know about them for work. At least, that's what I thought. You were spacing out, just staring at an empty sink. It was starting to get annoying. Huh? Albion's permanent scowl grows more intense, if that's even possible, the strain of asking me what's wrong clearly short-circuiting his brain. Despite my efforts to stay strong, his expression makes me smile, clearing away any annoyance I previously had. Why are you smiling like that? No reason. Thanks for checking on me. Huh? I wasn't. Yeah, whatever. Thanks anyways. Albion clicks his tongue, turning away from me. I'm going back to work. Albion starts to walk towards the seating area, first reaching into a cabinet to grab more cleaning supplies. Wait, I actually wanted to talk to you about something. He pauses, not yet turning around. He doesn't say anything, but from his stillness, I can assume he's listening. Yesterday, Sylvia told me that she wanted to do something to bring in more customers, and she asked me to choose how we go about it. It's subtle, but I see Albion's body twitch, and he turns back around to face me. Okay, so? You're impossible. So, I was wondering if you had any ideas, since you've worked here longer than me. Is there anything you've wanted to change or something you think that I should know? Not really. Things run pretty smoothly around here. So there's nothing you can think of? Nothing. Are you sure? Saints, yes, Astra. I'm sure. I find it hard to believe that someone as meticulous as you can't think of a single thing you'd like to change. Actually, there is one thing I've noticed. Really? Yeah. That you always stick your nose where it doesn't belong. Ouch. That wasn't funny. It wasn't supposed to be. I feel a spike of anger in my chest. Here I am, seriously asking for Albion's opinion, for him to give me something, anything helpful, and this is how he responds? What do you mean by that? I belong here as much as you do. I don't believe that there's nothing that comes to mind when you think about improving Café Bloom. It's not possible. Well, consider it possible. Go pester somebody else with your questions. There's nobody else I could ask, Albion. We're the only ones here. Astra, please, enough. I give you my answer already. For a brief moment, Albion looks shocked at himself, but it doesn't last long before he's back to his usual scowl. What? Nothing. Never mind. Fine. Forget I asked. I'll figure it out on my own. I don't know what I expected. Me neither. Albion turns away sharply, grabbing the cleaning supplies once more, and moving off towards the seating area, as far from me as possible. The next few hours are spent in tense silence, only broken when either me or Albion are forced to interact to serve customers. When Albion finally leaves, he does so without even saying goodbye. The rest of my shift passes by uneventfully until sooner or later, it's time to close up. I head into the break room to hang up my apron and sign out before leaving for the day. I lock the doors behind me before making sure to tug on them, double-checking that they're locked properly. Alright, time to go. I think there's time to stop by the markets on the way. I deserve a little pick-me-up after this morning. It is just about time to stock the apartments anyways. Plus, I want to buy Quinn a treat in return for the coffee this morning. It really had been much better than their previous attempts. Conveniently, my favorite market street is located in Block 5, the perfect bridge between my apartment and the cafe. As a result, I end up going there quite often. I walk slowly, enjoying the fact that I don't need to rush, taking the time to go through the list of things I need to buy. The sounds of voices grow louder and more concentrated as I walk, leading me right to the center of the market. I spot a few familiar vendors, but as usual, there are plenty of merchants and traders that I've never seen before who must have traveled from outside of the city to be here. Though, one thing stands out to me, or rather, a person. Over by one of the storefronts, a man is crouched on the ground, painting on the front windows of a flower shop. Intrigued, I walk closer to try and get a better look at what he's working on. It's beautiful. They're just simple flowers, but the colors and details are so lifelike that it looks like someone captured real flowers and pasted them onto the window. I move even closer, and before I know it, I'm crouching next to the painter himself. I glance over at him thinking that I should ask him about his work, but he hasn't realized that I'm here at all. The first thing I notice is that his overalls are absolutely covered in paint. When he finally turns to look at me, I find myself looking into the richest, deepest eyes I've ever seen. The color found in the center of a sunflower. Ah, caught red-handed. Are we having a staring contest? Because if that's the case, you gotta tell me first. Otherwise, it's not fair. The man grins wickedly, and I realize that I had definitely been staring, and not just at the painting. Okay, I'm ready now. 3, 2, 1, go. I can't help but laugh at his delivery, causing my eyes to close instinctively. I win. You weren't even trying. I wasn't ready. One more time, come on. Fine. But if I win, you tell me what you were doing. Deal? Deal. The stranger counts down once more, and the staring contest begins in earnest. However, any hope I have of winning is quickly dashed when I feel a quick puff of air hit my face. Hey, that's cheating. Whoa, the winds are pretty strong today, huh? That wasn't the wind, you blew into my eyes. I have no idea what you mean. So, I won. What were you doing? I grumble and glare unseriously at the stranger, but I decide to be honest, despite the fact that he obviously cheated. I saw you as I was passing through the market and wanted to get a closer look. I nod my head towards the window. You're painting, not you. Well, not you, I just mean that. Anyways, your work is really good. I wanted to see the details up close, that's all. Promise. The whole time I explain, the man's face doesn't shift at all from the grin he wears. His smile only grows wider. After I finish speaking, he takes his right hand and wipes it roughly against the overalls before sticking it out for me to shake. My name's Felix. You? Astra. It's nice to meet you, Felix. Sorry for sneaking up on you. No worries. I'm flattered, honestly. I'm happy to hear that you like my work. He gestures at the windows behind him. I love it. Do you do this full time? Yup. I have my own studio over in Block 2. I take commissions to do just about anything. Murals, portraits, windows. If it's got anything to do with painting, then I'm your man. Maybe it is the way Felix is still grinning, or maybe it's the way he seems so approachable, but I dredge up enough confidence to ask him another question. So, where can I find you? Hoping to see me again. Is that a crime? I don't know. It depends. Are you gonna follow me around, watching me work all the time? It was an accident. Felix laughs heartily. Okay. I won't tease you anymore. Here, I'll even give you my card. It's in here, somewhere. Felix begins patting himself down and digging through the various pockets of his overalls to find the card. Aha, here you go. I also sell paintings at different markets. You should keep an eye out. Thank you. No problem. Well, I better get back to work. Gotta wrap this up before I lose the lights, you know? Maybe I'll see you around, yeah? Yeah, see you around. Felix, huh? I looked down at the card in my hands. Something to consider. Alright, back to running errands. The rest of my time at the market passes uneventfully, and after an hour or so, I'm weighed down by the various bags of produce, meat, and a special jar of honey for Quinn. The only thing left to do now is find a carriage. Should be easy enough. Within the next few minutes, I flag down a carriage headed to Block 4, and soon enough, I'm back at my apartment. The apartment is quiet when I walk in, meaning that Quinn must not be home yet. They're probably staying late, again. As the owner of their own boutique, Quinn makes their own schedule, and often stays late, either making sure everything is running smoothly, or just talking with customers and co-workers. Guess I'll make us some dinner. Quinn should be home by then. With that thought, I start preparing to make dinner. And by dinner, I actually mean breakfast, since that's Quinn's favorite meal. I'm hoping to show Quinn how much I appreciate their serious interest in making coffee. Especially because I couldn't think of any other reason for them to do so, other than to make me happy. Quinn has a way of making people feel truly loved. Trying to one-up Quinn in that respect is an impossible game, but making breakfast for dinner feels like a good start. After thinking about it for a few moments, I settle on making something simple that still uses the sweet ingredients I bought. Honey pancakes it is. I fall into a comfortable rhythm, finding myself lost in the emotion of whisking and flipping 6 perfect pancakes. 3 for me, and 3 for Quinn. Or maybe 2 for me and 4 for Quinn. They can eat much more than I can. Yeah, let's go with that. As I cook, I use the time to reflect on my day, knowing that when Quinn comes home, they'll want to hear everything. It's a sort of tradition that whenever we have dinner together, Quinn and Al take turns telling each other about our days. It didn't happen today, but I should tell Quinn about Sylvia's proposal. I didn't get the chance last night. But, thinking about the cafe inevitably makes me think of Albion. The way he brushed me off was hurtful, but he was angry too. I wonder why. Now that I've had some time to calm down, I am curious about Albion's reaction earlier. I mean, sure, he's stubborn, inflexible, horribly blunt, easily annoyed, and constantly scowling. Even so, the way he reacted earlier seemed out of character. Back when I first started working at Café Bloom, I made plenty of mistakes, but I had never heard Albion raise his voice like he did today. I've known Albion for almost a year now, and yet it seems that I still know next to nothing about him. I'll have to talk to him sooner or later, so I suppose there's no use thinking about it too hard. As I reflect, I watch the last pancake cook on the stove until it browns enough for me to flip it over. The door swings open, and Quinn walks into the apartment. Oh wow, it smells amazing in here, Astra. They gasp, quickly shutting the door and dropping their bags to run up behind me. Pancakes? I laugh, placing the final pancake on their plates. Your timing is perfect. We can eat together. I found a really nice jar of honey at the market this evening, and I wanted to make you something in return for this morning. This morning? The coffee. Oh, right. Well, in that case, I accept. You're the best. With the pancakes finished, Quinn and I stand at the kitchen counter talking about our respective workdays and indulging in sickly sweet pancakes. Quinn talks about the new items in their boutique and gives me updates on the latest gossip they heard from clients. The next few minutes are filled with stories about various clients and whispered rumors, nothing I haven't heard from them before. You're a fiend for drama, aren't you? It's not my fault that I can hear practically everything going on in there. But, yeah, I am. Hey, You have the day off tomorrow, right? Why don't you stop by the boutique so I can show you the new product? Alright, I can stop by after I get coffee in the morning. At Bloom? Maybe. You know what you like, that's for sure. I'll take that as a compliment. It is. Okay, your turn. Tell me about your day. Well, this didn't happen today, but yesterday Sylvia actually asked me to help her in deciding on a plan to get more customers into Café Bloom. Really? Astra, that's great news. I think it is right up your alley. You love Café Bloom. If anyone can do this, it's you. Will Albion be helping you? Considering his reaction earlier, I doubt it. No, I don't think so. I tried to talk to Albion about it to see if he had any ideas, but he didn't seem to want to talk about it. Well, I don't know Albion too well, but he doesn't seem to be very good with that kind of thing. Maybe he just needs time. Regardless, I have every confidence that you can do this, with or without Albion's help. And of course, you can always come to me if you need anything. Thanks, Quinn. I'll keep that in mind. If Albion changes his mind later, then that would be great. But if not, then that's okay too. I tell Quinn about the rest of my day, regaling them with the story of how I met a painter at the market. Somehow, I only have to deal with some light teasing regarding our encounter. By the time the two of us are done chatting, our plates have long since been empty, and the sun is well and truly gone. Alright, I think I'm going to call it a night here, Astra. Thanks again for the pancakes, they were delicious as always. Of course, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Night, Quinn. Night-night. I should get some sleep too. Tomorrow's a day off, but there's no harm in being well rested. The dishes can be done in the morning. Sleep claims me quickly and quietly, marking an end to the day. Prologue, Chapter 2. And that is actually a good excuse for me to go get well rested. So, anyways, I came across this visual novel a few times, just browsing through itch.io for things to play. And I saw Quinn, and, well, you know, so anyways, I'm probably going to go after Quinn. But that all being said, so anyways, I saw the game, and I went through it, and I saw Quinn, and I was like, all right, I like this individual. And after looking at the page for this game a couple of times, I then noticed the dev come into the Otome Discord server. So I said, you know what? I feel like this is all just a sign, and I should go play this game. And here I am, playing the game. Obviously, we still have more to go. The game is also in a demo state currently. There's a lot more, even, after I finish this current playthrough, there's still going to be more content. There's a full-on release schedule on their itch.io page, which Quinn is not going to be available until March. So that being said, obviously I'm going to be playing for quite a while. But there's multiple waves that are coming out for the game. Again, you can go look on the itch.io page for Bloom to see what that schedule is. But I am enjoying this. This is definitely very cozy visual novel. A bit different from the, yandere horror, dark romance visual novels that we do play. But that being said, it's still Otome. I still enjoy it. And hey, not everything has to be all dark and gloomy and what have you, right? So, I think this is a very nice change of pace. There's also more characters that are going to be introduced that we have not encountered yet. Maybe we'll see them today. Today is in game, and not today as when I'm talking to you now. Anyways, I'll be on this again soon. That all being said, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and leave it a like, leave a comment, share the video, perhaps even subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all in the next video. So have a good night.